So I've been doing a free-to-play account for about a week here, and I figured now would be a good time to just go through some quick tips and tricks for if you're starting out new with Path of Champions and you want to sort of maximize your rewards, make sure you're getting things as, on cooldown as you can to make sure that you're able to get the most out of it. Now, I think in general, focusing on the aspects of the game you enjoy and the champions you enjoy should take priority over anything else. But if you do enjoy maximizing rewards and just making sure you're getting the most out of what you can each month, then this should help you out. So, first of all, I think it's really important to focus on your chapter quests. This is, if you go into the menu here and click on this double scroll, you will see the path, and right now here I'm on chapter 6. Each chapter has a bunch of different rewards. When you finish those rewards, you get a chapter complete reward, and a new set of rewards will pop up. So I would focus on getting those complete as you go through your different star adventures. Like here it says, finish these 3-star adventures. It would be really good for me to finish this before trying to push too much more into the higher star adventures, because I will get more chapter quests for the higher star adventures by completing these, and then get more rewards for those from that. So I think this is a good place to start. You also get a lot of legend EXP from doing these chapter quests. I've already completed the ones that gave me legend EXP in this chapter, but it's good to get that because that's the next area to focus. Getting your legend level, which is up here. You can see my legend level is 22. Getting it to at least level 15 is really important. Level 15 gets you the monthly challenge, as well as all of your weekly adventures are unlocked. This will allow you to go in here and start getting weekly rewards. You already at some of the earlier legend levels get the first 1 or 1.5 star weekly adventure that gets you a bronze reliquary, and then I think level 10 or so, you unlock the second one, which can get you a silver vault each week, and then at the last one, at level 15, you unlock this one, and that gets you a silver reliquary each week, as well as some legend points. And the monthly challenge, this will get you a lot of glory store points. So you can see here, you go through and you get challenge EXP that scales up the more of these challenges you complete each month. And that will get you, challenge EXP gets you things along this glory road. So each month you can earn a total of 900 glory max. Early on, it's probably going to be hard to reach that 900 glory. You can see I only have 1 day left here. I started in the middle of the month with this account, so or close to the end. Like I said, I've been playing for a week, and there's only 1 day remaining to get this, and I've completed 6 or 5 out of 15 so far. I'll probably get maybe 1 or 2 more done here before the whole month is out, but that's pretty much what I'll get this month. Next month, hopefully I'll get closer to the end, but I still doubt at the level of my account I will be able to cap out all of my rewards early on. But getting as much glory as you can every month will get you a lot more free rewards. So with that, let's also take a look at the glory store. When you are going into the glory store, the first time that you buy anything in the glory store with glory points, you should complete a quest that gives you a bonus 600 glory. So that will be very helpful. I recommend starting out focusing on Aurelian soul shards. You will need a total of 400 glory to max out Aurelian soul. This is the only way that you can get Aurelian soul to 4-star. And Aurelion Sol is a really strong champion, just at 4-star. He can complete pretty much all the weekly Nightmare adventures. So that will help you get even more glory every month just by getting him to 4-star. So there was a cooldown that every week you can only buy, I think, like 50 Aurelion Sol shards effectively, so you can spend 100 glory each week. So that means it will take you 4 weeks approximately to get Aurelion Sol to 4-star. So yeah, I would focus on him as early as possible and get that. Additionally, Spirit Blossom is very difficult. Spirit Blossom you can still spend wild shards on to get, but they are quite expensive. And getting Spirit Blossom Nova shards and Spirit Blossom crystals, the only way you can get those are from Spirit Blossom chests. So you can't get those from like this regional chest. If I went to go purchase one of these, I can't get a Spirit Blossom one. So getting these Spirit Blossom chests, if you want any Spirit Blossom champions, and I do suggest getting at least one Spirit Blossom champion to like 3 or 4-star, just to maximize getting some rewards from different areas. So yeah, I would get a couple of these each week if you can, if you have the glory for it. You can also, there's certain relics that if they happen to show up here would be really good to get, such as the Titan Forge gauntlets. Those are extremely good. If you happen to see those here and you have the 600 glory, I think it's worth picking up just because that is useful on so many champions later on. The chance that it cycles through the store and you see that again anytime soon will probably take a while. This only refreshes once a week. So if you happen to see Titan Forge gauntlets, I would say Searing Brilliance is another one that's extremely good, can be used on a lot of champions. There's a couple others, but I'll probably go through those later. That's more once you get a bit further and you start leveraging epic relics. I think that'll really come into play. You can also buy one of these, I believe, once every 4 weeks or so. I will probably purchase one of these. I'm still deciding what region I want to do that. I should probably decide today. I don't know how quickly the refresh will be, but I imagine there might be a refresh at the beginning of next month or something like that. So, yeah, I'm going to probably go ahead and purchase one of these. That I just wanted to make sure that I had enough Aurelion Sol shards, and right now I'm looking good, so I'm probably pretty safe to buy that. I'll come back to this and talk about which Nova Shard regions to focus on in the beginning, and it all sort of depends on which regions you prefer and what champions you prefer. But I'll talk a little bit about the strongest champions in just a moment. One of the other things to make sure that you are doing early on is pretty much every couple of days you can purchase the these are Stardust shards or whatever. You can purchase those with green essence. So this green essence here, you can purchase those, and this gets you like 350. But once you get to 3,000, you are able to purchase a golden reliquary, and these you can only buy once every 4 weeks. So trying to get up to 3,000 Stardust, I would not spend Stardust on pretty much anything else. Maybe a couple of these. These refresh every like 7 hours though, so I wouldn't focus on these. More just make sure that you get enough, get up to 3,000 to purchase one of these every single month or every 4 weeks. And that way you get that on cooldown and start building up your star shards again. In order to get the green shards, you will get this from like your monthly, weekly chest rewards every Thursday. You should get rewards like, I'll show you here if I go to the, I think, home. Yeah, you see this weekly vault. I've been building up. This will result in a bunch of cards for the base PvP game, as well as some of those green shards. Additionally, if you go to just like the reward track here, like mine's going through Bandle City right now. That's just the one it started with. So I can choose a different region and I'll start getting EXP for that. But each of these, if I click on these, I will get some, both when I hit duplicate cards that I already have, I'll get green shards for it, and just each chest has a number of green shards in it. Here you can see I got another 500 green shards. So if I go through each of these rewards, this will get me quite a few green shards that I can use in that Emporium shop and get more Stardust, so that I can use the Stardust and buy those golden reliquaries, which will get me additional epic relics that are hard to get otherwise. So yeah, highly recommend doing that. That's a good way to build up all your epic relics, so as you get your champions to later stages, you will have the relics that they need to be powerful enough to take on the really strong adventures. Lastly, I just wanted to quickly cover the focus for your champions. So getting a champion from each region to at least 2-star, just to help maximize rewards, will be really helpful. If we look at our general champions here, I have like one champion at 4-star, a couple champions at 3-star. Most of these are just from the shards I happen to get. But I would save, like you can see here, I have a bunch of wild shards. I would save your wild shards and only use these when you hit points, when you're trying to get rewards from the different encounters that you are going into here. So if, let's say, you are trying to get more of this, you can see I need like something from Shurima region to run it, Bandle City, Ionia. Let's say I'm trying to run this with like a 2-star champion, but I'm really struggling and I'm not able to get my rewards with my 2-star champion. Then I would look at potentially using my wild shards to bump that champion up to 3-star so that I can complete this and get the rewards. And also, start completing some of the harder ones like Aurelian Soul here and getting all the rewards from this as well. So that's what I would save those wild shards for. Don't just spend it on any random champion. Really make sure you're using it to push you over those break points where you're really struggling. And in terms of getting a strong champion from each region, let me just quickly go through each region and I'll point out the champions that are strong at like sort of the baseline level and which ones are probably best to use your first Nova Shard for that region on, so that you can complete everything in the game for that region with a champion. So let's just start off with Bandle City. Here I would say Yuumi and Vex are the strongest Bandle City champions. I would probably do Yuumi. Personally, I think she's the most consistent. Vex, I believe, is more fun for me. Vex is more fun. Yuumi is more consistent at 6-star in terms of winning adventures and just having good scaling power. Vex is more of a spell champion, whereas Yuumi just has an extremely strong board and she buffs up everything else on the board as long as you have one extremely strong creature. So that is really strong there. I think that there's other champions. I think even Vex is probably pretty strong even before 6-star, but with her 6-star, when things die, it gives everything else gloom, so it can have sort of a cascading effect. So that can end up being really good. Next region, we can go to Bilgewater. Here, I would say, in terms of your Nova Shard, I would probably spend it on Pike first. However, I think Twisted Fate is probably the strongest champion in this region. However, you don't need his 6-star. You don't need his Nova Crystal Shard in order to be extremely strong. His Nova Shard is just that it upgrades the blue, red, and gold cards that you get. But really, if you have his 4th star, let's see this one, which is when you draw a card, it gives allies +1/+0 this round. That already makes him extremely strong because you're drawing tons of cards with his deck. And then just getting the mana crystal, wherever that is. I think it's somewhere in here. Anyway, here we go. There's the mana crystal. So just getting the extra mana gem and the +1 from card draw, this will make him strong enough to complete pretty much any adventure. There are some relics like Searing Brilliance, which is extremely good on him, just because that does draw you additional cards, and there's a infinite cycle if you have that card for him, or that relic for him. However, in terms of the Nova Shard, like I was saying, Pike is probably the one that's most reliant on a Nova Shard for the Bilgewater region, so if you happen to get one for this region, I would put it towards him first before anybody else. The next one would be Nautilus. Nautilus is really reliant on his Nova Crystal Shard as well for his deck to be good, but I think in general Nautilus is a bit slow. I think these champions are a lot stronger, especially Pike with his Nova Shard. Then let's go to Demacia. Here, I think both Lux and Lux Illuminated are extremely strong with their Nova Shard. I think Lux, personally, I like her better, and I think that she is actually stronger with this and more consistent. So I would personally focus on this one, but just I think this is more dependent on play style choice. If you really like Lux Illuminated, I would go ahead and get it with her first. But yeah, either of these are really strong and are worthy of putting your first Nova Crystal Shard for this region towards that. Shyvana can also be good. Hers summons dragons when you attack, or summons creatures when you attack. Yeah, when you attack, you draw a unit, and if it's a dragon, you summon it. So that can be extremely strong. But I think in terms of consistency, if you don't have enough dragons in your deck and you don't hit it, it's a lot harder to get off, whereas Lux is a lot more likely to win you adventures on a more regular basis. For Freljord, I would say Tryndamere is probably the most consistent at 6-star. Ashe is the way you play her completely changes once you get her 6-star, and you can actually play at 6-star with very cheap relics. If you just have Guardbreaker, I think that's, or Gatebreaker or something like that. I have the relic. I can check in here what it's called. This one, the Curator's Gatebreaker. You can essentially equip Ashe with 3 of these, and if you have her 6-star, you can pretty much one-shot their Nexus after a few turns of using Frostbite on their units. So that's a very good build and is worthwhile. So you can go with either Ashe or Tryndamere, I would say, for your first Nova Shard, but Tryndamere is just a bit more consistent. It's big stats on the board. It's a bit safer for winning on a regular basis, in my opinion. He also gives you free cards that give you rallies, and so you can rally pretty much every turn or attack multiple times each turn and tend to be able to dominate games pretty quickly. Volibear is also pretty good. I would say his 6-star is not necessary, but it is always just good. It adds benefit, but I wouldn't focus on this for the Nova Shard. For Ionia, strongest is going to be Ahri here. Other champions can be really good, but I think Ahri is certainly the strongest. Lilia has a lot of fun gameplay with her Nova Shard, but just in pure strength and being able to complete adventures. Ari is pretty weak until you get her to her 6-star with that Nova Shard. Once you get that, she absolutely dominates, and there's a lot of builds you can do with her that completely blow out the enemy in just like 1 or 2 turns. So highly recommend her. Yasuo is pretty strong, but I don't think you need his. Again, he's really strong at just like 5-star, and you don't really need his 6-star. His 6-star is a benefit, but it's really not necessary in order to win. For Targon, here in general, I would say just get Aurelian Soul to 4-star, and you can use him to complete all the adventures. However, if you happen to get a Targon Nova Shard, I would spend that on Leona first. I think she's the most impacted by having the 6-star Nova Crystal, so I would just use it there first. Morgana and Kayle, both also quite strong and good with the Nova Shard, but it really defines the way Leona plays. It works out really well for her. These ones can be very competent even without the 6 Nova Star Crystal. Then we have Noxus. Here, I would say Swain is probably the strongest one to put the Nova Shard on. He is a very strong champion, clears boards, can do all the highest level stuff, especially with that 6-star. I would put it towards him first. Samira, I think, is an extremely strong champion and really fun to play. I really enjoy playing her, and I use her for a lot of adventures. I don't think her 6-star is absolutely necessary. You can be very successful with her without the 6-star. It just gives you more attack to your board when you have the attack token. But just getting her 4 and 5-star, she is plenty strong to do most adventures with just this. Some things that, if the enemy has a huge board with lots of like very healthy creatures, she can be a bit more difficult to get in. But yeah, in general, she's really strong with 4-star, so I wouldn't focus on her for that Nova Shard. Where were we? So with Noxus here. Ambessa, also really good. Her, again, her Nova Shard just like does a bunch of damage to, I think to like a creature in the back row. Yeah, if you have Tempest Power, it just automatically kills things in the back row when you attack. So they don't even get a chance to block with like their strongest creature. So really good, but she mostly just scales off attacking, and the whole deck gets buffed up just off her 3-star. So getting her 4th and 5th star is normally plenty to get her through most adventures. I think the only one that's super build defining again is Swain. He's the one that this makes a huge difference on. Darius also, it's good on. It's a very strong 6-star, but I think Darius is in general just a lot weaker than Swain. I haven't gotten this on my main account. I haven't tried out Annie with her 6-star, so I don't know how her power compares to Swain, but the skills just activating an additional time, I'm pretty sure that's not going to be nearly as strong as Swain's relic there, or Swain's 6-star. Now, just one moment. For Piltover and Zaun, this has the most champions in it. However, I think that Victor is the strongest with the 6-star, is just absolutely takes off and makes crazy boards that are tons of stats, and you can get like lifesteal and stay healthy and tons of keywords and everything. Just really strong overall. Highly recommend Victor first in terms of power level. He's just like miles ahead of everybody else. Jinx is very good, but I don't think she needs her Nova Shard. You can generally push her through like 4 to 5-star adventures pretty easily without her 6-star. She tends to fall off against the really, really hard, like 6.5-star adventures. Because she just does a bunch of damage to their Nexus, you end up getting into battles where the enemy Nexus has like 99 health or something like that, and it gets a bit harder for her to burn through all that health and still keep a healthy board that's able to defend against the enemy. So I think that prioritizing her with your Nova Shard is not really worthwhile. I would just send it to him. After that, Warwick can be pretty good. Jace is really strong, but I don't think you need his 6-star at all. He's really strong with just 5 stars. He's able to do a lot with that. His 6-star just like does some extra damage to their board, but yeah, he's really good. Just I would focus on getting him to 5-star rather than 6-star and save the Nova Crystal for Victor. Let's see. Oh, I guess another just notable mention. Caitlyn, her build is pretty reliant on her Nova Shard. She is pretty weak without her 6-star. Once you hit her 6-star, she's pretty good. Still not as good as Victor, but she's way better with her 6-star. It makes a huge difference. Unlike Jace, who the 6-star doesn't make much difference. He's already strong without it. It really does make a huge difference. Let's go on to Runeterra, and I think the standout here is Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks is absolutely amazing with 6-star. He is really good, especially for, there's some weekly nightmares and other adventures that require, they say essentially like this, you can't kill the enemy champion before round 5, things like that. He is able to get around that by forcing the enemy to discard their entire deck, and once he does that, they effectively can lose before turn 5, because once they draw and they don't have a deck, they automatically lose. So he just, with his 6-star, he also essentially applies Gloom to their entire board and debuffs them so that they aren't nearly as strong, and your whole board will get bonus Spirit every time you like Gloom their whole board, and so your board becomes massive, theirs becomes tiny, and you're often able to just kill them with a powerful board, if not by decking them. So just extremely strong here, highly recommend. Elder Dragon is really strong, but you don't need his 6-star. He's really good at 4 and 5-star, so highly recommend just getting him to 4 and 5-star, and you can use him for pretty much any adventure. Jin also really strong at just 4 and 5-star. His 6-star, again, good, but really not necessary. His 6-star is just like bonus spell and skill damage and extra against stunned enemies or something like that. Really can do most things with him at 4 and 5 stars, so I would just focus on that. Use your 6-star on Fiddlesticks. The Poro King is really good with his 6-star. It makes a huge difference. Typically you need Poro King on the board, but with his 6-star you don't need him on the board at all. You can start getting snacks right away just by dropping Poros, and that can be extremely strong. I personally like Nico, but lots of the Legends of Runeterra community says that she's the weakest, one of the weakest champions in general at 6-star. I think that's debatable personally, but yeah, I don't think it's worth, certainly not your first 6-star and Nova Shard. I wouldn't send it to her. Similar with Evelyn, I think these are probably the weakest in general for the Runeterra in terms of 6-star champions. Aatrox, if you get the Aatrox relic, he can be pretty good. Again, I wouldn't say he's a top-tier champion like Fiddlesticks or Jin or even Elder. I wouldn't say he's up at their level. but still pretty strong. Then for the Shadow Isles region, I would say that Viego is the best with the Nova Shard. This makes a huge difference for him. Basically, your whole deck gets buffed every single time that you put out a Encroaching Mist. Allies everywhere get +1/+0. This goes extremely well with his 2-star, which is when an ally with 4+ power dies. Everything in hand has its, all allies with 4+ power in hand get their cost reduced by 1. So once you hit, once you have like 3 or so mists you've summoned on the board, that'll make it so everything in your hand and on your board is all 4+ power. So anything dying reduces the cost of things in your hand. You can dump your whole hand out and keep buffing up all the cards in your deck. So every draw you're dropping a huge unit. He also, just the fact that he has Crush as his 4th star also makes it really easy to push damage into the enemy. He is extremely strong, so highly recommend getting his Nova Shard as your first in the Shadow Isles region. I would say Elise is also an extremely strong champion in Shadow Isles. I don't think her 6-star is necessary. She is really strong with just, even at 3 stars, she's really strong. But getting the extra mana crystal at 4-star or 5-star, those are also really good for her. But yeah, just in general, she's really strong. 6-star, not too necessary. I would save the Nova Crystal for him. Gwen, also decently strong, even without her 6-star. Her 6-star is great for her. You can do some really good builds and, have a lot more consistency, because her 6-star also gives her a rally. So even if you don't go first, you still can attack on your opening turn. So yeah, she is worthwhile. But I would focus Nova Crystal here first. Similar with Thresh. He can be decently strong, but he's probably the weakest of the Shadow Isles champions that has 6-star. So I would probably put my Nova Crystal here last. Then let's go to the last standard region, which is Shurima. Here, I would say Kai'Sa should get the first Nova Crystal shard. It's pretty debatable between Kai'Sa and Akshan. Akshan is also really strong. I would just say that Kai'Sa is more consistent. Akshan can struggle a little bit against big boards. You need to get him out and target him with a bunch, or target any ally on the board with different, just target them with anything, because that counts down your landmarks and gives your board buffs, and every time you trigger one of his landmarks to completion, it drains the enemy the enemy of 1 mana gem and gives you an extra mana gem. So it's really strong in terms of if you can cycle through and get the Warlord's Palaces out there. But I think Kai'Sa, just more consistently, she gets her whole board huge with tons of keywords and can get you lifesteal and stuff like that. That make sure you stay healthy throughout the whole adventure. And yeah, I just think she's really good. Nidalee is also one of the best champions, even just at 3-star. She doesn't even have a 6-star yet. But she can do a lot of adventures if you have the right relics for her, which is a really cheap relic set that you can use to make her successful. So just highly recommend, if you get her to 3-star, that you use her for a lot of different adventures. She's really strong. But yeah, Nova Crystal Shard, I would put it towards Kai'Sa first, personally. Talia is also really good. Azir's really good. But yeah, I think these Akshan and Kai'Sa top champions for this. And lastly, we'll go to Spirit Blossom. Here, most of the champions are really strong with just like 3 and 4 star. These have up to 7 stars on them, and they have a special rune slot that you also have to unlock runes and such. Like you can see here, the rune star node. You can then put certain runes in there, which are basically like an extra relic slot. Actually, just I need to toss this over here. Anyway. So you need to do that in order to just get the full level of bonuses. But like Evelyn here, once you get her rune slot unlocked, and if you have a certain rune with her, she is an absolute powerhouse, can do pretty much any adventure, even without her 5th and 6th star, or 5th, 6th, and 7th star. Obviously, getting the extra mana gem on her, extra mana gem to start, just ramps you up that much quicker. But I would say once you get her to just this like 4th star, effectively, the rune star, she already just takes off. She's absolutely massive. In terms of the Nova Shard, if you happen to get a Nova Shard with Spirit Blossom, I personally think that Ari is the strongest off of the 6th star or the 7th star Nova Crystal. Teemo is also, his 7th star absolutely takes off. But with her, it's more build defining. It's every time a creature dies, you refill a mana gem. So you can just she summons a ton of like ephemeral units. You can throw those in for either blocking or attacking, and then resummon stuff because your mana gems get refilled. It's just extremely strong and fun and everything. I think, Master Yi is also quite strong in general. His Nova Crystal gives you, when you target an ally with a card, you get stats equal to its cost. It's good, but unlike Ari, where it's build defining, it's just like more power to what already is happening with his. So yes, it'll scale you up faster, but it's not build defining. Whereas like for Ari, it absolutely changes the way that you play her and makes her so much stronger. So that's pretty much it in terms of what I recommend for your first Nova Shards as you start collecting them. But in general, if you find a champion fun to play and you're enjoying it, go ahead and spend your resources on that. You don't need to be pretty much any character that can get to 6th star. If you get them to 6th star, they're going to be strong enough to do most endgame stuff. They might not have as easy as a time as some of the other champions, but if you enjoy playing them, I would focus on that. So that's about it. If I come up with other tips and things, I'll have another video. I'm going to keep playing this account and seeing how things go. Maybe I'll do a summary after about a month, but this is my sort of 1 week recap and tips and tricks. So hope you enjoyed, and let me know if you have any questions or things that you would like me to go into in the future. Thanks for watching.